recently, as has happened many times before, we lost another entertainer to suicide, which was tWitch.
Yeah.
He is a alum from So You Think You Can Dance, and he had become Ellen's sidekick. You know how like they have the person on the side.
Yeah.
He was a DJ. He wasn't originally a DJ, he was a dancer. But he became her sidekick because he had taught her a dance. And then they became friends, and then he became the sidekick, you know, playing a little bit of music or whatever. But he was just the person to talk to while she sat at the tape, you know, at her sofa. I think it was like 8 years or something, and he had done it. And he became America's sweetheart. Yeah. So everybody loved him. Everybody thought they knew him. So, you know, to watch it on social media and watch people just really be distraught.
Yeah, it's been an international outpouring of grief and realizing that a lot of people were touched by their relationship and what you feel like you felt like you knew him. He was in your living room every day, you know, and it came out of nowhere for a lot of people. I would suspect for his family too, who just saw wins and wins and wins and wins, and suddenly it's like, what?
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Making It. My name is Kennan Cooley, and I am with
Alvin Shia. You like that royal rave? It's all about the wrist. All about the wrist. You can do this. You can do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you know, I want to talk about the royalty of entertainment.
Yes.
And I want to talk about the royalty of entertainment and the reality of entertainment.
Yeah.
Royalty versus reality a little bit, because the honest truth is, you know, I've said this to you before, you guys sacrifice your lives for us as entertainers.
Yeah.
You know, you're on the road, you're practicing, your craft is always a part of your spirit and your mind.
Right.
You let go of a lot of things that I won't even say normal people do, but you know, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of other professions that do it too, but being an entertainer, the other problem is you're in front of people.
Right.
So you're always in that space where you're evaluated, looked at, judged, people presume that they know you.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's this backstory, right? The backstory of who you really are.
Right.
And you're not even allowed to put that real person in front unless that's part of your career. Like, you know, I say an actor who's really, you know, got certain things. But in general, let's just say, you know, as a singer like you are, you have to go in there and be happy when you might be completely depressed. You know, you might have lost a loved one. You might just be tired. You might have bills in your mind. You might have family on your mind. You might be missing, you know, one of your son's events. It's just one of those things where you don't get a chance if you're not careful.
You don't get a chance to put in. You're constantly pouring out.
Yeah, and you know, and recently, as has happened many times before, we lost another entertainer to suicide, which was tWitch.
Yeah.
He is a alum from So You Think You Can Dance, and he had become Ellen's sidekick. You know how like they have the person on the side.
Yeah.
He was a DJ. He wasn't originally a DJ, he was a dancer. But he became her sidekick because he had taught her a dance. And then they became friends, and then he became the sidekick, you know, playing a little bit of music or whatever. But he was just the person to talk to while she sat at the tape, you know, at her sofa. I think it was like 8 years or something, and he had done it. And he became America's sweetheart. Yeah. So everybody loved him. Everybody thought they knew him. So, you know, to watch it on social media and watch people just really be distraught.
Yeah, it's been an international outpouring of grief and realizing that a lot of people were touched by their relationship and what you feel like you felt like you knew him. He was in your living room every day, you know, and it came out of nowhere for a lot of people. I would suspect for his family too, who just saw wins and wins and wins and wins, and suddenly it's like, what? But how could you have been struggling?
I don't know him, of course, and I don't know him. But sometimes, you know, as a person who has been married, I understand that you get the chance to understand that person's inner workings, right? So she might have been helping him with the struggle. She might have not be as surprised as we are. I don't think she probably is as surprised as we are. You know, this just came out of
True.
They were together, I think, at least 8 or 10 years. And they were one of those couples, and they both danced. So she danced and they danced, they met dancing. They had a lot of camaraderie. You just loved them as a couple. It's one of those set of people you loved as a couple. So, you know, I think that they had the synergy that she probably knew more than what we did, of course. But, you know, that's the struggle too. do you almost, if I were to put myself in her shoes, I don't know if I would say, like, honey, if you are struggling, take a break from this entertainment stuff, because sometimes that mask, the constantly putting on that mask doesn't give you a chance to look back and see, who am I? What happens if I stop being the dancer? What happens if I stop being the singer or the whatever? Will you still love me? Because a lot of times the thing is, you're loved because of what you do.
What you can provide. Yeah.
Well, because of who you are. So like to say, if, you've been performing for 34 years. Let's say you were just regular Alvin Chia, and not Alvin Chia part of Take Six and the singer and all that, and you were just regular Alvin Chia, or you stopped it. You just, I'm over it. I'm done. There's a decompression of, wow.
Yeah.
I have to see if
do I still have any value? Does anybody care? Do I care about myself? Yeah. Do I feel valued?
Right.
As a provider, as a Black man, as a Christian man, I remember this little kid, man, years ago. This kid must have been 8 or 9 years old. It was the most ruthless thing anyone's ever said to me in all my years. And 20 years later, I still remember it. We were playing basketball in the gym. Take Six had had this meteoric rise. We're killing it, doing our thing. And this was about a year or two later. And the kid walks up to me, he's like, hey, you're not famous anymore, huh? And I was like,
right there in the
yeah. And it's like, it really could do a number on.
Did it kind of like hit you wrong? I mean,
it did. It was like, is everybody seeing something that I'm not seeing? And this was actually even before I started doing my thing individually. I was solely tied to Take Six, and for child actors go through that. They're the complete stuff, and then suddenly their voice changes, or they mature, or they get taller, and nobody checks for them anymore. They're the same person, needing accustomed to those positive rubs and vibes and applause, but they're just not getting anymore. Now, what do you do with the rest of your life?
Yeah, right. Because my sons, I have 2 sons, 6'5", 6'3". They played basketball from the time they were 5 until they graduated from college.
Yeah,
that's 20. That's like it's a lot of years.
Yeah, absolutely. That's your entire identity.
Yeah. So now you're like, okay, now what? I'm no longer playing. Well, they played overseas, so they played a little bit longer. Yeah. But after that, at some point, you say, you know what? Now what do I do? I mean, not that you don't have balance, but you've only programmed your brain and the people around you to just believe that that's who you are.
Very much so.
And I think you even say this, like, you can believe your own lie sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're more than, I tell my sons, no, you're more than just basketball. Right. That's just a dribble and throw in a hoop. At the end of the day, when you get out the air, it's nothing. You're what matters. You are what matters.
Absolutely.
Matter. And if you think you matter off the court, then you'll matter on the court. If you don't think you matter off the court, then you are going to have problems. Yeah. You have to see yourself. And if I say this, because I remember what Dave Chappelle did that, right? He took that break because I think it was his mental health.
Mental health. Absolutely.
And I think it was the smartest thing ever.
Yeah, he came back and has never looked back. He's stronger and more. He's willing to take risks and say what he needs to say. He's probably one of the only people in Hollywood who could actually say what he wants to say.
Yeah, because at this point they know he'll leave.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need this. I'll say what I gotta say. You don't like me, I'll leave. Right.
Like Oprah in reverse. I don't need you. I don't need you.
Right. They call that F you money. Anyway, stay positive. No, it's really true. It's people, if you're being paid to be on point and to look good and smell good and have the latest dance and the latest car and everything, and you've got these social media pressures, the guy somebody else is doing what you're doing, but he's doing this, and what have you done recently? It can be a lot on you. And not to mention financial stuff, So again, I don't know what his challenges were. I don't know if he was dealing with whatever. It's not my business. That's between he and his family. But I think the overarching message is to those who are out in front. Take time to heal thyself. You're pouring out, you're blessing, you're being Mr. Wonderful. Take time to get your own. Work out those muscles, but also take time to work out your issues as well.
And recenter yourself. I mean, I'm not a performer, but I'm always, because I am an entrepreneur, And because I do, work on my stuff all the time, I can do it 24 hours, 7 days a week because my mind is always with me.
Sure.
So I will say, I say, look, if God rested on the 7th day or 6th day, or, I'm going to do the same thing.
Yes.
I'm going to rest and take my time out and say, look, everybody's going to have to just take a break from me. And I'm taking a break from me. So, that's I have it on do not disturb. And if it's an emergency, I have, my family that they can break through. But everybody else, I take from you because I'm on social media. I do marketing. I'm on, regular media. I'm doing the show. I'm doing this. And it's like, I can't keep my wheels spinning and everything that I want to know myself. Because at the end of the day, we stopped doing this show. My business is no longer a business. Whatever happens, am I going to feel like nothing? And if I don't, and I can, honestly, I give more when I rest. When I rest and meditate and trying to get myself back to me, then I'm able to give more. I'm able to do more. I'm able to feel like I can stay in my gifting, because we talk about all the time, the entertainment business is not the easy business. It's very cutthroat easily. And you can feel on the top of the world one day and feel like you're nothing the next day. And then what I want to say to anyone who's listening, you're never nothing.
Never nothing.
You're never nothing. And if your standard is outside, bring it back in. If your standard of anything about you resides on the outside, whether that's your wife, your children, your money, your family, your boss, whatever. And I don't even just mean entertainers, anyone who's listening, please bring it back. Bring it back to you and God, because those are only two on this earth that matters. Because
Absolutely.
If God loves you and he's for you, you're good.
That's great. That's a word. That's a word. I love that. I don't even know what to add. I won't add anything. That's to it.
Well,
that's beautiful.
And I want to just say, I'm grateful for your centeredness, because I remember when I met you, I was like, you're not that entertainer who I have to worry about all of that stuff. You're a very centered man who believes in God. First, and
I do. Because I have seen the highs and I've seen the lows and I've seen how quickly it can change. It can change, man. You get a letter in the mail that they're going to take your house. Boom. You get in a discussion with your spouse and they're out. Change. You get a call in the middle of the night that your kids had a major car accident and they're not sure. Change. Whatever it is, stuff can change. If you're not centered, if you're not understanding who you are in this world and whose you are in this world, that stuff will take you left and right and center. So, Kennan, we're ending another year. I don't want to date this, but love you. I'm proud to be associated with you, and I know wonderful things are ahead for both of us. And if you need a shoulder to cry on, call me. Let me know, and I'll let you know.
He's trying to pretend. I already did.
No. Continue to call me.
Pray for me, and you do the same for me too. You guys.
No, see, and I'm about to share something that I've never shared before, because audiences don't know. When I first met you, Kennan, we were doing this. We were talking about doing this, and I just bought my house, but it was like funds were very low. But you wanted to do this. You said, Alvin, we could do it. We need to get going. You need your lights.
You're actually going to do this right now.
This light, there's a set of lights that Kennan sent me, purchased for me to have so we can have. Kennan, this is the stuff that people don't see. This happened, this show, me being here today, all of that happened because you believed in me. You were there for me. Love you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Too. God put us here for a reason, and I hope that one thing that nothing happens with this show, we actually bless people.
Absolutely.
That everything is secondary. I hope we bless people. However it comes out, God is in the middle of it, and that's why I like.
Absolutely. Love you too, girl. Love you too. Love you all.
Love you all.
Higher. You can make it. You can do it. Keep going. Don't turn around. Don't look back. Just keep pushing. You can make it.
Yes. Making it.
Royal Wave.
Royal Wave.